Good, thanks. What did when you think back to your time with Kansas City, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Um, I think appreciation. They gave me an opportunity to enter this league and grow as a football player. So I'll always be appreciative of that. Um, yeah, I had just good times. I had some really good friends along the years as teammates there, and very fond memories. I mean, the city of Kansas City is my home, my permanent home with the wife. So, yeah, very fond memories.
With regards to Patrick Mahomes, obviously, last year he took the next biggest step and goes on to win a Super Bowl. But just from your early impressions of being around him when he was just starting off of his career, did you see a guy whose ceiling was kind of limitless, basically?
You knew he was going to be an exceptional football player from the get-go, and he's shown that plus some. So, yeah, a very, very good football player. He did it from the very beginning, and a good dude too. So, it's just yeah, I think he had it from the get-go, and he's just shown what he had.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, it's Sal. Good to see you.
Hey, Sal, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Andy Reid, Sean McDermott, a lot of similarities. Obviously, Sean has a very healthy respect for Andy. He worked, under him in Philadelphia. They've been kind of compared a lot, and there's kind of demeanor, not in personality, but just in preparation, football, things like that. Do you see a lot of the same similarities? The word consistency comes up a lot between the two.
Yeah, I think consistency is probably the biggest thing. Guys who understand their personnel, want guys to play like themselves, be themselves, prepare very well, and try to create a competitive environment. And I think both of those coaches do that exceptional job of that.
Do you still have? You said you have friends. I'm sure you still have friends, and the Kansas
Absolutely.
City side. Yeah. Just say, who are a couple of the guys that you still really keep in contact with?
A few of the offensive linemen,
Yeah.
Mitchell Schwartz, probably Andrew Wiley's their right guard's the guy I talk to the most. Yeah, I mean, you go to battle with those dudes, and some really tight memories with a bunch of those guys who are still on that team, and the utmost respect for all of them, and love those guys, and I was happy for them to see them do well last year, and relationships that are going to last a lifetime regardless of team, which is cool to say, and yeah, I'm very appreciative of those.
Thanks, Mitch.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, good to see you. One thing that I'm curious about it. You watched the Titans game, and it seemed like they were really going out of their way to force you guys to convert long drives. And when teams are able to do that to you guys, have you talked about what you have to do execution-wise better to finish drives more?
Sure. Yeah, I think you just nailed it on the head. The secret sauce is just executing in critical downs, which is third downs. Getting ourselves out of those third and long situations or second and long situations, and then just giving what the defense or taking what the defense gives us. I thought the Titans did a very good job of making us kind of march down the field, and so we'll just learn from that, and then convert when we have to, and just do our job.
And obviously there was some buzz around Le'Veon Bell this week, but inside the building, how much confidence and belief do you have in Devin Singletary?
I mean, the utmost. The guy is a stud, and he's a great teammate, and a guy who comes and competes, and yeah, 100%. There's no doubt in our mind that Devin's our guy, and we're happy to have him.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mitch, John Scott, going off of that, understanding you have the confidence in Devin, but the running game hasn't been as effective as we saw, particularly we can just go last year. What is the reason that you think that is?
There's always a slew of things. I'm not just going to pin one thing. I think it's been a perfect combination of, I think, just execution on our part. The plays are there to be had, and it's just we're beating ourselves. And so for us, it's just going down to the basics, not panicking, but understanding that something needs to be fixed. And for us, we'll be figuring that out.
Understanding pass protection and run blocking are different styles. Is it, now that you've gone more pass happy, Is it more challenging to get that downhill and switch those styles?
You know, that's a good question. I wouldn't say so. I think for us, it's just executing at a higher level. Whatever that is that needs to be done, we'll figure that out. And I know some guys feel that way for sure. For me, it's just do what you're told. And if it's time to run the ball down the hill, we have to do a better job of doing that. And I can only talk about myself, and I have a lot of room to improve in that regards.
And finally, is there still some figuring out with Brian being inserted and Cody now at left guard? Are you guys still all trying to mesh and figure out how all those pieces fit together?
I would no. I think we're. It's just part about being a pro is figuring out how to work with the guy next to you, and I think we have a bunch of professionals in our room. I think we just all have to do a little bit better executing. I don't think it's just one guy playing next to another dude. I think it's all of us doing the things, the tools that they've given us to be successful, and now we just have to execute.
Thanks, Mitch.
You're welcome.
Big Mitch, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. Thank God it's Friday, big guy.
I appreciate you, pal. It's Friday, thank goodness.
How was practice, man, this past couple of days?
The sun came out, which was cool, but besides that, it was kind of cold. You know, Buffalo winters are upon us. And in regards to the morale, and I think there's a sense of urgency, no doubt about it. Understanding we have a very great opponent coming in to Buffalo, and us coming off of a game we can learn a lot from. It's a perfect combination for guys trying to come together and figuring stuff out. One thing at a time. We're not trying to change everything all at once or at all. We're just trying to go down to what we know works and doubling down on our fundamentals and executing.
Speaking of what things that works, last year it seems like y'all were more power run style. This year it seems like y'all more zone run. We all know that it is a big difference in that zone. You definitely gotta have some continuity running zone. But last year, the plays that that y'all were successful on as far as the run, a lot of trapping and pulling last year. We don't see that this year. Will you guys go back to some of the things that did work in the run game last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we have the plans that we're comfortable with, but like you said, we all need to be on the same page. And there just seems to be a lack of execution. And I think every game plan, every year, I think going back to the beginning of my professional career, every year it's very strange. You might have the same offensive line or maybe one or two different guys or same group, but outside zone might be the big hitter one year. Inside zone might be the big hitter one year. So for us, it's just figuring out what's going to work for us and then executing that.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Mitch, what kind of game do you expect on Monday?
I think a very challenging one, a very physical one, knowing Coach Reed's style of play. He lets the guys fly off the ball and let their personality show. That's his big thing, he says. So for us, it'll be matching that competitive intensity and executing.